For August 14th, 2009, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Eunice Kennedy-Shriver, co-founder of the Special Olympics and, until Tuesday, one of the 3 surviving siblings of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who himself was one of 9 children and met his end far too soon in the sights of at least one assassin's rifle, and held so much unrequited promise for America, much like his younger brother Robert, who served first as Attorney General, then as a promising candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency, until his assassination in 1968, which left his wife and 11 children unsupported, tugging at the heartstrings of Catholics all across America, is dead. Former Alaska governor and full-time, lifetime appointed jabbering imbecile Sarah Palin took her place among the people for whom there is no moral floor and truth is wholly subjective and without any grounding in reality. Sarah Palin has pressed the notion that the healthcare reform bill currently under consideration contains a requirement involving so-called death panels. The death panel claim has been revealed to be an outright lie. Glenn Beck and a variety of other Fox News nutbar wackaloons have signed on to support Palin's position. Hey everybody, how about you stop listening to these 2-bit pharma whores and read the freaking bill? Florida Senator Mel Martinez. George Sodini, 48, of Scott Township, Pennsylvania, is now in heaven, according to Jack Rickard, deacon of the church Sandini attended. Sodini, who killed 3 women and injured another 9 before turning his gun on himself in a Collier Township health club, according to the pastor, is in heaven but not getting his rewards. So what? He's sent to bed with ice cream but no sprinkles on his ice cream? I got nothing. More news after this. Hey gang, it's time for celebrity birthdays once again. I got my cake hat on. Let's rock. For Saturday, the 8th of August, Dustin Hoffman, Connie Stevens, Willie Too Big Hall. For Sunday, the 9th of August, Sam Elliott, Melanie Griffith, Curtis Blow. Monday, the 10th of August, Eddie Fisher, Ronnie Spector, Ian Anderson. Tuesday, the 11th, Pervez Musharraf, Ian McDermott. You, like your father, are now mine. Terry Bollea, better known to you as Hulk Hogan. Wednesday the 12th, George Soros, George Hamilton, Anthony Ray, whom you may know as Sir Mix-a-Lot. Thursday the 13th, Fidel Castro, Don Ho, dead, Danny Bonaducci. Friday the 14th, Dash Crofts, David Crosby, Steve Martin. That's celebrity birthdays. I'm Paul Torville, and I am done! Noted biologist, professor, and atheist P.Z. Myers went with a group of like-minded folks to a place called the Creation Museum, headed by a fellow named Ken Ham, and operated by an outfit called Answers in Genesis. Myers and company were understandably curious about the museum's message. When Myers blogged about his visit, Ken Ham blew a gasket and tried to defame Myers on the basis that Myers' degree does not come from as prestigious a school as some of Ham's on-staff scholars. Well, Ken, PhD or not, some people are simply whores and will say anything for $1. Others are simply dumb. Remember, George W. Bush holds a degree each from Harvard and Yale. Ken Ham. From Earth, Saturn's ring system, which orbits above the planet's equator, seemed to disappear on Tuesday, Far more troubling than the event itself was the news coverage, which went through extensive motions to explain such things as the fact that Saturn orbits the Sun just like the Earth, and that the inclination of both Earth's and Saturn's axes is what causes seasons. 4th grade, people. If you don't know these basic facts, you need to go back to elementary school. Now. A very noisy part of the current healthcare debate involves people horrified that they, or someone they love, will be forced to be judged by a death panel. Irrespective of whether the death panel thing is in the bill, does the government have any place regulating end-of-life issues? Here are Pig and Sheep with their positions.
Hell no! You should live as long as God wants you to live. Of course, doctors help God implement His will by extending people's lives with drugs and surgeries. And of course, the doctors and hospitals and drug makers profit from that. The Bible clearly states in, well, I don't have the chapter and verse handy, but it's a sin to want to die and a sin to take your own life. So there, idiot. The Hippocratic Oath demands that doctors first do no harm. It seems that what is at issue here is what constitutes harm. To me, harm is the prolonging of suffering. Harm is the needless extension of once satisfying lives which have slid into an abyss of pain and loneliness. The deeper question is twofold. 1. Should I be permitted to have any control over when my life should end? 2. Should you be permitted to have any control over when my life should end? Personally, I think the answers are yes and no, respectively.
Well, that's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. GM, that's the new GM, the post-reorg GM, is reporting that its Chevy Volt plug-in serial hybrid will get up to 230 miles to the gallon in city driving. This estimate depends on a large number of dubious assumptions and a car-buying public willing to ignore the cost and fuel consumption involved in generating the household electricity needed to charge the car's batteries. For decades, the big 3 U.S. automakers have resisted powerfully efforts by the federal government to increase fuel economy standards. The economy tanked, the auto companies faltered, and suddenly the Ford Fusion gets 40 miles to the gallon? In the true spirit of America, country superduo Brooks and Dunn stay the course by quitting. No, wait, no, not quitting. Calling it a day. Totally different. Ask Sarah Palin. Rapper C. Murder is on trial for, wait for it, murder. We'll have more after this.
You'll notice that when you watch NewsUndies, I'm always wearing a shirt from the UrsusPacificus Kitsch Cave. Well, now you can too. You can help support NewsUndies by going to the UrsusPacificus Kitsch Cave and getting some kitsch.
Birthers. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Well, maybe not everybody saw it coming. The Cash for Clunkers program quite possibly is the best use of tax dollars since the Eisenhower interstate highway system was put in place. And it has proven to be a boon for car dealers, car buyers, and for car manufacturers, and the environment in general. The only loser? Me. I have a 13-year-old Nissan pickup. Sadly, when I bought it new, it was the strippy model with the tiny engine and the manual transmission. On its own, the truck might command a $100 trade-in value at this point, but under Cash for Clunkers, if it qualified, it would get me $4,500 toward a more fuel-efficient vehicle. Sadly, no. My truck, according to Cash for Clunkers, gets 21 miles per gallon on average, which is, get this, 3 miles per gallon too many to qualify. Never mind that it's 13 years old and probably burns more oil than gas, so I guess I'm relegated to hang on to it until the next $1,000 repair bill comes along, and then I'll junk it. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. Remember, if you see news that shouldn't be news, you can send your story tips to undies@newsundies.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be this pen.